Some stories to start your morning. Brought to you by Unexpected Energy of ExxonMobil. The Jazz season came to an end last night. Donovan Mitchell, God, he's been so fun to watch this postseason. He scored 22 of his 24 points in the third quarter. He did have to leave the game in the fourth with a foot injury. CC, what did you make of the real Rookie of the Year's performance this postseason?
I thought he was amazing. I thought he won over a lot of fans. I've been trying to tell him for several months that he was Rookie of the Year, even though Ben Simmons should win the award for what he did, but he deserved the recognition. People need to talk about him. And now to see him up his game, where the guards were hurt, he had to move from the 2 to the point guard. This is the real making of a superstar right before our eyes. So I'm excited what he's going to do moving forward.
Only 6 other players in the last 15 years have had a 22-point playoff quarter. He did it twice. He did it once in the first round, once in the second round.
I'm not too proud to tell you this, Nick. I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know that either until this morning. It's remarkable what he's done, and to do it in games where he struggled. He had 2 points in it. When you said he had 22 of his 24, well, that means he had 2 points in the first half leading into it because he didn't play much in the fourth quarter. It was great. That is, talk about a bright spot for Utah moving forward.
The Golden State Warriors continue to cruise their way through the West. They eliminated the Warriors last night. No, you know who they didn't eliminate? The Pelicans.
No problem.
With a 5-game gentleman's sweep. Golden State's 4 stars combined for 94 of their 113 points. Steph Curry led the way with 28 points. Nick, are the Warriors playing at the peak of their powers?
You're about to be at the peak of your powers when you break that pen here in a second. Listen for it, audience. Are the Warriors at the peak of their powers? Close to it. In the start of third quarters, they're at the peak of their powers, without question. Defensively, Draymond is leading them to the peak of their powers, no question. Offensively, I haven't seen it for 48 games just yet, or 48 minutes just yet.
Yeah, I don't think you can play at the peak of your power, reach the peak of your power, unless you're forced that way, Jenna. It's by excellence. It's by someone else, either a coach or an organization, a team, and I believe that Houston will force them into that. So, no, I don't believe they're playing at the peak of their power because they haven't been forced. The lack of competition in the first 2 rounds. But in the finals, they will have to be at the peak of their power to advance.
All right, let's move on to golf. Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson are paired together for the Players' Championship. The last time they played in the same group came in the first 2 rounds of the 2014 PGA Championship. These 2 golfers have combined for 122 PGA Tour titles and 19 majors. Here's what Phil had to say about Tiger during his peak.
I don't think anybody today who wasn't there that witnessed it, and I don't think anybody before will ever see that level of play again. It was the most remarkable golf in the history of the game, and I think unrepeatable. I think it was that good. Going back to, I look at 2000 as being kind of the benchmark at the U.S. Open as being the greatest golf I've ever witnessed, and I believe ever has been played. And it sucked to have to play against them. It really did. You look at it and you say, you know, how am I going to beat this? And you know, there was a stretch there of a number of years that it was so impressive that it was hard to imagine that it was actually happening, that he was hitting some of the shots that he was hitting and playing that well. And the guys today look back and they say, well, come on, you know, how much better could he have been and so forth. And it just shows you that they weren't there to witness it.
CC, you agree with Phil's assessment of Tiger Woods?
It's one of the most amazing displays that I've ever seen as an athlete, as a fan. I've been privy to traveling around the world watching golf. I've been privy to walk with Tiger Woods and his family and the people at Nike that represent him, his agent, Steiner. I mean, it was breathtaking. It was like Michael Jordan in a way that Tiger Woods is the best athlete that's ever played golf, that's ever picked up a golf club. Now, we're talking about the sport that's the oldest sport that we know. And he's the best athlete. And when he was playing in his prime, it was total dominance. You're talking about a guy who didn't have a weakness. When people say, well, he didn't drive the ball straight. That wasn't no weakness because he could hit it so far. If you look at the other golfer that people would argue is the greatest golfer, Jack Nicklaus, what did he do? Man, he drove the ball further than everyone else. His game was made after Tiger Woods. It was Tiger Woods is Jack Nicklaus on steroids. Now, would he be able to put together the longevity? That's why, Jenna, you pointed out what he was saying about LeBron was so important, because that might be the thing that he talked about with LeBron staying in his prime that allows LeBron to be in the conversation as the GOAT, to finally approach Michael Jordan, and that might be the thing that keeps Tiger Woods away from being having the title as the world's greatest golfer. Jack Nicklaus has it. It will be hard for Tiger to ever move Jack off of that because of the injuries and what it did to his longevity.
See, so I find this so interesting because you are the single biggest Tiger Woods fan I've ever met. You've walked more rounds with him than anyone I personally know. This is a guy that, as an athlete, as an elite athlete, you have a level of almost adoration for and admiring, even though he's a younger guy than you and that a guy you watch come up because of the level of skill. But you still, I've always heard you say, Jack Nicklaus is the greatest golfer ever. And we never had this discussion. Jack Nicklaus, in my eyes, is clearly, and it's to me inarguable, the most accomplished golfer ever. But this is how I come down to a lot of these sports debates. How good were you at your best? And I think the best Tiger Woods is the best the sport's ever been played. At one point in time, he held, for multiple years actually, the scoring record to par in all 4 major championships. The best Masters ever, the best U.S. Open ever, best British, best PGA. Tiger had all of them. Not to mention, of course, he at one point had won those 4 tournaments consecutively, the Tiger Slam famously. He also went through multiple reinventions. He ran away running the Masters before the year 2000, then reinvented himself to get the Tiger Slam, then reinvented himself again in the mid-2000s. No one's ever been better at golf than him. Now, in my eyes, because of what happened, because of the injuries, because of the issue with his wife.
Has that tainted any of that reputation?
I don't think for me, as the golfer, it hasn't tainted it. What it did is it deprived him of the ability to end all arguments. It deprived him of the ability to win 20 majors. And then there's no question, right? The reason you consider Jack is because it's 18-14.
And it's not only that. Because Jack changed the game. Jack also changed the way he played the game a couple different times, like Tiger. But Jack ushered in, after Arnold, the era that made it possible for Tiger Woods to be on TV. The reason why we saw Tiger at a young age was because of Jack Nicklaus. So Jack has also some of the same gravity on the sport that Michael Jordan has from a marketing standpoint, how it resurrected the NBA. But also it's who Jack went through. Jack went through Gary Player, Lee Trevino, Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson. You're talking about some of the greatest players ever. You tell me the greatest players that Tiger beat. Now, Tiger dominated golf. Phil Michkelson.
Phil's probably the best.
Okay.
The best contemporary. David Duval early, and then David Duval fell apart.
And those guys, they're not mentioned as some of the greatest golfers the way Trevino is, the way Palmer is. And what Jack Nicklaus and his dominance over a period of time, that's what has him. And it's just like championship. It's no different. Golf, there is no help. All right.
Well, that part. Listen, golf and tennis are the 2 sports,
and they haven't changed. They only play 4 majors a year.
The golf and tennis are the 2 where I get annoyed. You guys know this in the NBA when they do the count the rings thing. But in golf and tennis, that's fair. In golf and tennis, you can say, listen, I understand the competition is a little bit different, but it's one-on-one, or it's one on the field. You know, so who's the greatest tennis player ever? I mean, it's Roger Federer. Well, what about Pete Sampras? No, it's Roger Federer. It's Serena Williams. That's what I understand with Jack. I think it's a different question in who played golf at the highest level ever. I think that's Tiger.
Right. I don't think you can compare the 2 because of technology and how the equipment changed. Jack's playing with wood clubs. Now Tiger's playing with graphite, stainless steel. The difference, what you can do to the lies of the club. The ball is totally different. You can manipulate the ball in the current game over the last 25 years more than Jack could do with a wooden club and that brick ball that they were hitting. So I can understand why he would hold the records, because it was easier to score with technology.
All right, let's take a break right there and move on to the NFL. Saints running back Mark Ingram has been suspended for 4 games for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing drug policy.